Chimarka stood frozen, her breath caught in her throat. The mirror in front of her wasn't like any she had ever seen. Its frame was old, carved with strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the dim light of the dusty attic. Her heart pounded as she stared at her reflection, or what should have been her reflection. Instead, the face looking back at her was peeling away, like dry paint flaking off a wall. Beneath her smooth, perfect skin, a hideous, twisted face emerged. Its eyes were cold, its mouth curled into a sneer. It wasn't her, not the Chimarka everyone loved and praised. This was something else, something ugly and cruel. She stumbled back, her hands trembling. "No, this can't be me," she whispered, her voice shaking. The mirror's surface shimmered, and the horrible face seemed to laugh silently, mocking her. Her hands flew to her cheeks, feeling the familiar softness of her skin. But the mirror showed something different, to truth she couldn't understand. Her stomach twisted with fear. What was this mirror? Why was it showing her this? And then the reflection spoke, its voice low and sharp like a knife. "This is who you really are, Chimarka," she screamed, the sound echoing in the empty attic. The mirror's glow grew brighter, and the symbols on its frame pulsed like a heartbeat. She wanted to run, to smash the mirror, to make it stop, but her feet felt glued to the floor. The reflection's eyes locked onto hers, and it whispered again, "Look closer, if you dare." What was happening? How had she ended up here, staring into this nightmare? And what did the mirror mean by who you really are? Chiamaka's world spun, and the attic seemed to close in around her. She didn't know what was coming next, but one thing was certain. This mirror wasn't ordinary, and it knew something about her that she didn't. Let's go back to the beginning, before Chimarka found the mirror, before her world turned upside down. In the small village of Umia, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, Chimarka was a star. Everyone knew her name, and not just because her family ran the biggest market stall in town. No, it was her beauty that made heads turn. Her skin glowed like polished bronze under the sun. Her eyes sparkled like the river at dawn, and her smile could make even the grumpiest elders laugh. People called her the jewel of Umia, and she loved it. "Chimarka, you're like a flower in a field of grass," Mama Gozu, the fruit seller, would say, waving her over to give her a ripe mango for free. "Girl, you must have been kissed by the stars." Uncle Obier, the carpenter, would tease as he carved wooden toys for the village kids. Chimarka soaked up the praise like a sponge. She'd walk through the market with her head held high, her colorful headscarf swaying as she smiled at everyone. She knew she was beautiful, and she wasn't shy about it. Why should she be? The village loved her, and she loved their attention. Her friends, Amara and Kosi, were always by her side, giggling and whispering about how lucky she was. "You could marry a prince, Chimarka," Amara would say, her eyes wide with dreams. "Or maybe a king," Kosi would add, and they'd all burst into laughter. But not everyone was charmed. Some of the older women in the village would watch her with narrowed eyes. "Beauty fades," they'd mutter to each other. "She's too proud. It'll catch up with her one day." Chimarka overheard them sometimes, but she didn't care. What did they know? They were just jealous, she thought. She was young, she was stunning, and the world was hers. Home. Her parents adored her too, but they worried. "Chimarka, beauty is a gift, but it's not everything," her mother, Ardaku, would say gently, brushing her daughter's hair. "What's in your heart matters more." Chimarka would roll her eyes. "Mama, my heart is fine. Look at me, everyone loves me." Her father, Chaik, would chuckle but shake his head. "Be careful, my girl. Pride can be a heavy load to carry." Chimarka didn't listen. Why should she? Life was perfect. She had her looks, her friends, and a village that treated her like royalty. Nothing could go wrong. One sunny afternoon, as Chimarka strolled through the market, a strange rumor reached her ears. A group of women were gathered near the yam stall, their voices low and excited. Curious, Chimarka slowed her steps to listen. "They say it's hidden in the old trader's house," one woman whispered. "A mirror that shows you who you really are. Who you really are." Another woman asked, her eyes wide. "What does that mean?" "Nobody knows," the first woman said, leaning closer. "But they say it's magic. It doesn't just show your face, it shows your soul." Chiamaka's heart skipped a beat. A magic mirror? That sounded like something out of the stories her grandmother used to tell her, about spirits and enchanted objects. She didn't believe in those tales anymore, but the idea of a mirror that could show her soul intrigued her. What would it show? Her beauty, of course, but maybe something more. Maybe it would prove she was as perfect inside as she was outside. She didn't tell Amara or Kosi about the rumor. They'd probably laugh or tell her it was nonsense. But the idea stuck with her, like a song she couldn't stop humming. That night, as she lay in bed, she couldn't stop thinking about it. A mirror that showed your soul. What would hers look like? The next day, Chumaka decided to find out. The old trader's house was on the edge of the village, a crumbling building nobody had lived in for years. People said it was haunted, but Chumaka wasn't afraid of ghosts. She was Chumaka, the jewel of Yumya. Nothing could scare her. She slipped out of the house early in the morning, before her parents woke up. The village was quiet, the air cool and misty. The old trader's house loomed ahead, its wooden walls weathered and grey. The windows were boarded up, and vines crawled over the roof like fingers. Chiamaka's heart beat faster, but she pushed the creaky gate open and stepped inside. The house smelled of dust and old wood. Cobwebs hung in the corners, and the floor creaked under her feet. She moved carefully, her eyes scanning for anything that looked like a mirror. The downstairs was empty, just broken furniture and scattered papers. But then she saw it, a narrow staircase leading to an attic. Her stomach fluttered with excitement and a tiny bit of fear. She climbed the stairs, each step groaning under her weight. At the top, she found a heavy wooden door. It was stuck, but she pushed with all her strength, and it swung open with a loud creak. The attic was dark, except for a single beam of sunlight streaming through a cracked window. And there, against the far wall, was the mirror. It was tall, its frame covered in strange carving symbols that looked like eyes and hands and twisting vines. The glass was cloudy, almost like it was filled with smoke. Chiamaka's reflection was faint, but she could see herself, her perfect face, her bright eyes, her confident smile. She stepped closer, her heart racing. "Show me," she whispered. "Show me who I really am." The mirror's surface shimmered, and that's when it happened, the moment that changed everything. The attic grew colder, and Chiamaka's breath came out in little puffs. She wanted to look away from the mirror, but she couldn't. The hideous face stared back at her, its eyes boring into hers. She felt exposed, like the mirror was peeling away every layer of who she thought she was. Her hands shook as she reached out, half expecting the glass to burn her fingers. But it was cool too. The touch, smooth and solid. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. The reflection didn't answer this time. Instead, it tilted its head, as if studying her. Chiamaka's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst. She wanted to run, but her legs felt heavy, like they were stuck in mud. The mirror's glow pulsed, and the symbols on its frame seemed to move, curling and twisting like living things. She thought about all the times she'd laughed off her mother's warnings, all the times she'd ignored the elders' whispers about her pride. Was this what they meant? Was this ugly, cruel face her true self? The thought made her stomach churn. She wasn't like that, she couldn't be. She was Chumaka, the girl everyone loved. But the mirror didn't lie. Or did it? Maybe it was a trick, a curse meant to scare her. She remembered the stories about the old trader who used to live here. People said he was strange, always collecting odd things from faraway places. Maybe this mirror was one of his treasures, something dangerous. Chumaka took a step back, her mind racing. She needed to get out of here, to tell someone what she'd seen. But who would believe her? Amara and Kosi would think she was making it up. Her parents would scold her for sneaking into a creepy old house. And the village elders, they'd probably say she deserved it. The attic creaked, and Chumaka froze. Was that a footstep? She spun around, her eyes darting to the shadows. The room was empty, but the air felt heavy, like someone or something was watching her. Her skin prickled, and she clutched her arms, trying to stay calm, get a grip. "Chumaka," she muttered to herself. "It's just a mirror. It can't hurt you." But as she turned back to the mirror, the reflection changed again. The hideous face was gone, replaced by nothing. The mirror was blank, like a pool of dark water. Chiamaka's heart skipped a beat. Where was her reflection? She waved her hand in front of the glass, but nothing appeared. And then, from the darkness of the mirror, a hand reached out. Chumaka screamed and stumbled backward, tripping over a loose floorboard. The hand was pale and bony, its fingers long and claw-like. It stretched out of the mirror, reaching for her, its nails glinting in the dim light. The symbols on the mirror's frame glowed brighter, and a low hum filled the attic, like the sound of a distant storm. Chiamaka's mind raced. Was this real? Was the mirror alive? She scrambled to her feet, her heart pounding in her ears. The hand was still there, hovering just outside the glass, as if waiting for her to come closer. Stay away, she shouted, her voice shaking. But the hand didn't move. It just hung there, motionless, like it was inviting her to touch it. What was she supposed to do? Run? Fight? Or reach out and see what happened next? Chiamaka's breath came in short gasps as she stared at the hand, her fear battling with her curiosity. The mirror had shown her something horrible, something she didn't want to believe, but maybe it wasn't done with her yet. Maybe there was more to see, more to understand. The hum grew louder, and the attic seemed to shake. Chiamaka's eyes darted to the door, then back to the mirror. She had to make a choice, and whatever she chose, she knew her life would never be the same. Chiamaka's heart thundered in her chest. She stared at the pale, bony hand reaching out from the mirror. The attic's low hum vibrated in her bones, and the glowing symbols on the mirror's frame pulsed like a heartbeat. Her every instinct screamed to run, to bolt down the creaky stairs and never look back. But something held her there, a spark of curiosity, or maybe stubbornness. She was Chiamaka, the jewel of Ymir. She didn't run from things, not even creepy mirrors with creepy hands. She took a shaky breath, her eyes locked on the hand. It hadn't moved, just hovered there, its long fingers curling slightly, as if beckoning her. The air in the attic felt thick, like she was breathing through a wet cloth. Okay, she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible. If you want me to play your game, mirror, I'll play. With her heart pounding, she stepped forward, her sandals scuffing against the dusty floor. Her hand trembled as she reached out, inching closer to the mirror. The hand in the glass stayed still, waiting. Her fingers were just a breath away when a cold breeze swept through the attic, making her gasp. She froze, her hand hovering in midair. Was this a mistake? What if the hand grabbed her and pulled her into whatever was on the other side? But before she could change her mind, her fingertips brushed the hand. It was cold, like touching a stone left out in the rain. The moment they connected, the mirror flashed with a blinding light, and Chiamaka screamed, squeezing her eyes shut. The hum stopped, and the attic fell silent. When she opened her eyes, the hand was gone. The mirror was just a mirror again, showing her own wide-eyed face. Pale with fear, she stumbled back, her breath coming in short gasps. What was that? She said aloud, her voice echoing in the empty attic. Her hand tingled where she'd touched the mirror's hand, like it was still holding onto a piece of that coldness. She looked at the mirror again, half expecting the horrible face from before to return. But it was just her beautiful Chiamaka, the girl everyone loved. Except now, she wasn't so sure. That hideous reflection, the one that had peeled away, her face to show something cruel and twisted. It had shaken her. And now this hand. She didn't know what the mirror was, but it wasn't just a piece of glass. It was alive, or at least it felt that way, and it knew something about her, something she wasn't ready to face. Chiamaka backed toward the attic door, her eyes never leaving the mirror. She needed to get out of here, to clear her head and figure out what had just happened. But as she reached for the door, a soft whisper filled the air, so quiet she wasn't sure if she'd imagined it. You can't run from yourself, Chiamaka. She froze, her hand on the doorknob. The voice wasn't coming from the mirror, it was all around her, like the air itself was speaking. Her skin prickled, and she yanked the door open, stumbling down the stairs as fast as her legs could carry her. She didn't stop until she was outside, the warm sunlight hitting her face like a slap. She gulped in the fresh air, her heart still racing. The old trader's house loomed behind her, silent and still. Chiamaka glanced back at it, half expecting to see the mirrors glow through the cracked windows. But there was nothing, just an old, crumbling building that looked like it hadn't been touched in years. She shook her head, trying to shake off the fear. It's just a mirror, she told herself. Just a stupid, creepy mirror. But deep down, she knew it wasn't. And she knew she'd be back. Chiamaka didn't tell anyone about the mirror. Not her parents. Not Amara or Kosi. Not even her little brother, Emika, who followed her around like a shadow. How could she explain it? A mirror that showed a monster instead of her face. A hand reaching out to grab her. They'd think she was crazy. Or worse, they'd laugh. So she kept it to herself, burying the memory deep in her mind like a stone in the river. But the mirror wouldn't let her forget. That night, as she lay in bed, she kept seeing that horrible face, her face. But not her face. The cold, sneering eyes. The cruel twist of the mouth. Was that really her? Was that what the mirror meant by who you really are? She tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Every creak of the house made her jump, thinking it was that whisper again, telling her she couldn't run. The next morning, she tried to act normal. She put on her favorite yellow dress, tied her headscarf just right, and headed to the market with her usual confident smile. The village buzzed around her, same as always. The women haggled over yams, the children chased each other through the stores, and the men laughed over cups of palm wine. Everyone greeted her with their usual warmth. "Shamaka, my star," Mama Ngozi called, tossing her an orange. "You're looking radiant today." Shamaka caught the orange and flashed her dazzling smile. "Thank you, Mama," she said, but inside, her stomach twisted. Did they really see her, or just her face? For the first time, their compliments felt hollow, like pretty words that didn't mean anything. She kept smiling, but her mind was back in that attic, staring at that awful reflection. Amara and Kosi found her near the fabric store, where she was pretending to admire a bolt of bright blue cloth. "Chamaka, where were you yesterday?" Amara asked, her hands on her hips. "We looked for you all afternoon." "Yeah, you missed OBI's new story about the talking goat," Kosi added, giggling. "It was so funny." Chamaka forced a laugh. "Oh, I was just helping Mama at home," she lied. She couldn't tell them about the mirror. They wouldn't understand. They'd probably tease her for sneaking into the creepy old house, but as the day went on, she noticed something strange. People's compliments, which used to make her feel like she was floating, now felt heavy, like they were pressing her down. When Uncle Obi called her the prettiest girl in Umia, she didn't beam like she usually did. Instead, she mumbled a thank you and looked away. When a group of boys whistled as she passed, she didn't toss her head and smile. She hurried past, her cheeks burning. What was wrong with her? She was still Chamaka, still beautiful, still love. But the mirror had planted a seed of doubt, and it was growing, twisting inside her like the vines on the old trader's house. That afternoon, Chamaka decided she needed answers. She couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. The mirror had shown her something awful, and she needed to know why. She slipped away from the market and headed to the one person who might know something, Grandma Nika, the village storyteller. Grandma Nika was old, so old nobody knew her exact age, and she knew every story, every legend, every whisper of magic in Umia. Chamaka found her sitting under the big Iroko tree, weaving a basket from palm fronds. The old woman's eyes were sharp despite her wrinkled face, and she smiled as Chamaka approached. Well, if it isn't our shining star," Grandma Nika said, her voice warm, but with a knowing edge. "What brings you to an old woman's side today?" Chamaka hesitated. She didn't want to sound foolish, but she couldn't keep this to herself anymore. "Grandma," she said, sitting on the ground beside her, "have you ever heard of a mirror that shows things? Not just your face, but something else?" Grandma Nika's hands paused, and her eyes narrowed. "A mirror, you say?" she asked, her voice low. "What kind of things does it show?" Chiamaka's throat felt tight. She looked around to make sure nobody was listening, then leaned closer. "It showed me a different face, not mine. It was ugly, scary, and it spoke to me." Grandma Nika set her basket down, her expression serious. "You've been to the old trader's house, haven't you?" she said. It wasn't a question. Chiamaka's eyes widened. "How did you know?" The old woman sighed, her gaze distant. "That mirror is no ordinary thing. It's called the Mirror of Truth. Long ago, the trader who lived in that house brought it from a faraway land. They say it was made by a sorcerer who wanted to teach people a lesson. It doesn't just show your face, it shows your heart, your soul, the parts of you that you hide from the world." Chiamaka's stomach churned. "But why would it show me something so horrible? I'm not like that." Grandma Nika studied her for a long moment, her eyes piercing. "Are you sure, child? The mirror doesn't lie. It shows what's inside, whether you want to see it or not. If it showed you something ugly, maybe there's something in your heart you need to face." Chiamaka's cheeks burned. She wanted to argue, to 26, to say she wasn't vain or proud, that the mirror was wrong, but the words stuck in her throat. She thought of how she loved the village's praise, how she brushed off her parents' warnings about pride. Was the mirror right? Was she selfish? Grandma Nika's voice softened. "The mirror is a teacher, Chamaka. It shows you the truth, but it also gives you a chance to change. What you do next is up to you." Chamaka left the Iroko tree with her head spinning. The mirror wasn't just a trick, it was real, and it had shown her something she couldn't ignore. But what was she supposed to do about it? How could she change something she didn't even understand? That night, she sat by the river, watching the water ripple under the moonlight. She felt lost, like the girl she'd been. The confident, beautiful Chimaka was slipping away. She didn't know who she was anymore, and that scared her more than the mirror itself. As Chimaka sat by the river, a strange feeling washed over her, a pull, like an invisible thread tugging her back to the old trader's house. She didn't want to go back. The mirror terrified her, and the hand. She shivered just thinking about it. But Grandma Nika's words echoed in her mind. What you do next is up to you. She stood up, her hands clenched into fists. She couldn't run from this. If the mirror showed her truth, she needed to face it, no matter how scary it was. She took a deep breath and started walking toward the old trader's house, her footsteps steady, but her heart racing. The night was dark, the village quiet except for the chirping of crickets. The house loomed ahead, its windows like empty eyes. Watching her approach, she pushed open the gate, the creak louder in the silence of the night. The attic door was still ajar, and the mirror was waiting. As she climbed the stairs, the air grew colder, and that low hum started again, vibrating through her bones. She reached the attic and stood before the mirror, its surface stark and still. "Show me," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Show me what I need to do." The mirror's symbols glowed, and the glass rippled like water. This time, it wasn't a face that appeared, it was a scene. Chimaka saw herself, but not as she was now. She was standing in the market, surrounded by people, but they were turning away from her, their faces cold and disappointed. She saw herself alone, her beauty faded, her confidence gone. And then, a voice, the same voice from before, whispered, "This is what you will become if you don't change." Chimaka's knees buckled, and she grabbed the mirror's frame to steady herself. The vision faded, leaving her staring at her own reflection, her real face, not the monster from before. But the warning lingered, sharp and cold. She had a choice to make, and the mirror wasn't done with her yet. Chimaka's hands gripped the mirror's frame, her knuckles pale against the dark wood. The vision in the glass had vanished, leaving only her reflection wide-eyed, trembling, her breath fogging the mirror's surface. The whispered words, "This is what you will become if you don't change," echoed in her mind like a drumbeat. Her heart raced as she stared into her own eyes, searching for answers. The scene she'd just seen, herself alone in the market, shunned by the village, her beauty faded, felt like a punch to her chest. Was that really her future? Or was the mirror playing tricks, trying to scare her? She stepped back, her legs shaky. The attic was silent now, the glowing symbols on the mirror's frame dimming to a faint pulse. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing down on her. She wanted to run, to leave this creepy house and pretend none of this had happened. But the vision had rooted her to the spot. It wasn't just the horrible face from before, this was something new. Something that felt real, like a warning carved into her bones. "What do you want from me?" she whispered, her voice cracking. The mirror didn't answer, but its surface shimmered faintly, as if it was watching her. Chimaka's throat tightened. She didn't know what change meant. Change how? Change what? She wasn't a bad person, she was Chimaka, the girl everyone loved. But the mirror's vision had shown her something else. A lonely, empty version of herself. And that scared her more than anything. She turned and stumbled out of the attic, her footsteps echoing on the creaky stairs. The night air hit her like a wave as she burst out of the old trader's house, her chest heaving. The village was asleep, the stars bright above, but Chimaka felt like she was in a different world. She couldn't go home yet, not with her head spinning and her heart so heavy. She needed to think, to figure out what the mirror was trying to tell her daughter. As she walked back toward the river, her mind churned. Grandma Nika had said the mirror showed the truth. But what was the truth? Was she really as vain and proud as the mirror seemed to think? She thought of the way she basked in the village's compliments, the way she'd ignored her parents' advice about humility. Maybe there was something to it, but admitting that felt like swallowing a stone. Why? The time she reached the river, the moon was high, casting a silver glow over the water. Chimaka sat on the bank, pulling her knees to her chest. She stared at her reflection in the river, not the mirror's reflection, but her own, rippling in the gentle current. It was her face, the one everyone called beautiful. But now she couldn't help wondering, was that all she was? The next morning, Chimaka woke with a heaviness she couldn't shake. Her eyes were puffy from lack of sleep, and her usual sparkle felt dim, like a candle flickering in the wind. She tried to act normal, tying her headscarf and putting on a bright smile as she headed to the market with her mother. but every step felt like wading through mud. The mirror's vision clung to her, and the whispered warning echoed in her ears. To the market, the usual buzz of voices and laughter surrounded her, but it felt distant, like she was watching it through a window. People still smiled and waved, calling out their usual compliments. "Chumaka, you light up the market," one woman said. "Such a beauty," said another. Normally, Chumaka would have grinned and tossed her head, soaking it all in. But today, the words felt like weights, piling onto the doubt already pressing on her heart. Amara and Kosi found her near the fish stall, where she was pretending to help her mother sort baskets. "Chumaka, what's wrong with you?" Amara asked, her brow furrowed. "You're so quiet today. Are you sick?" "Yeah, you look like you saw a ghost," Kosi added, half joking but with a worried glance. Chumaka forced a smile. "I'm fine, just tired," she said, but her voice sounded hollow, even to herself. Her friends exchanged a look, clearly not convinced, but they didn't push. Instead, they dragged her to their favorite spot by the mango tree, where they usually sat and gossiped about the village. "Tell us what's going on," Amara said, sitting cross-legged on the ground. "You're not yourself. Did something happen?" Chumaka hesitated. She wanted to tell them about the mirror, about the horrible face, and the vision of her lonely future, but the words wouldn't come. How could she explain something so strange, so personal? Instead, she shrugged and said, "It's nothing, just thinking about stuff." Kosi raised an eyebrow. "Thinking about stuff? Since when do you think so much? You're usually too busy being the star of Yumia." She laughed, but Chumaka didn't. The words stuck, even though Kosi didn't mean them to. Was that how her friends saw her, just a pretty girl who loved attention? The rest of the day passed in a blur. Chumaka went through the motions, helping at the stall, chatting with customers, smiling when people complimented her. But inside, she felt like a stranger in her own skin. The mirror had cracked something in her, and she couldn't put it back together. She kept thinking about Grandma Nika's words. "The mirror shows your heart." If that was true, then her heart wasn't as perfect as she'd thought. That evening, as she helped her mother cook dinner, her little brother, Amika, noticed her quiet mood. "Shishi, why are you so sad?" he asked, using her nickname and tugging at her skirt. His big eyes were full of worry, and for a moment, Chumaka felt a pang of guilt. Amika always looked up to her, always followed her around with his gap-toothed grin. She didn't want him to see her like this. "I'm not sad," she said, ruffling his hair. "Just thinking." "About what?" he pressed, climbing onto a stool to watch her chop vegetables. Chumaka sighed. "About being a good person," she said softly. It was the closest she'd come to admitting what was bothering her. Amika tilted his head. "You're already a good person, Shishi. You're nice to me, and you make Mama and Papa smile." His words were so simple, so kind, that Chiamika's eyes stuck with tears. She blinked them away quickly, not wanting him to see. "Thanks, Amika," she said, her voice thick. But deep down, she wasn't so sure. If she was such a good person, why had the mirror shown her that horrible face? Why had it warned her about a lonely future? The next day, Chumaka decided she couldn't avoid the mirror any longer. It was like an itch she couldn't scratch, a puzzle she had to solve. She needed to know what it wanted her to do, how she was supposed to change. But going back to the old trader's house alone felt too scary, so she decided to ask for help, not from her friends, who wouldn't understand, but from someone who might. Grandma Nika, she found the old woman at her usual spot under the Iroko tree, weaving another basket. Grandma Nika looked up as Chumaka approached, her sharp eyes taking in the girl's tense expression. "Back so soon?" she said, a knowing smile tugging at her lips. "The mirror's got you in its grip, hasn't it?" Chumaka nodded, her throat tight. "I saw something else last night," she said, her voice low. "A vision. It showed me, but alone. Everyone in the village was turning away from me, and it said I'd become that if I didn't change." Grandma Nika's smile faded, and she set her basket down. "The mirror of truth doesn't just show you who you are, it shows you what you could be, good or bad. It's trying to teach you, child, but learning is hard, and it hurts. What am I supposed to do?" Chumaka asked, her voice trembling. "I don't even know what it wants me to change." The old woman leaned forward, her eyes piercing. "Start by looking at yourself, not in the mirror, but in your heart. What do you care about most? What makes you happy? And what do you do when nobody's watching?" Chumaka frowned. She cared about her family, her friends, the village. She loved their praise, their smiles, the way they looked at her. But was that all? She thought of the times she'd ignored people who didn't flatter her, like the quiet girl at the market who always seemed too shy to speak, or the way she'd brushed off her parents' advice because she thought she knew better. Her cheeks burned with shame. Grandma Nika reached out and patted her hand. You're starting to see it, aren't you? That's the first step. But the mirror's not done with you yet. If you want to understand, you will have to go back. Shamika's stomach twisted. Go back? After the hand? The face? The vision? She wasn't sure she could face it again, but she knew Grandma Nika was right. The mirror was her only way to understand what was happening, and to figure out who she really was that afternoon. She made a plan. She'd go back to the old trader's house, but this time, she wouldn't go alone. She needed someone she could trust, someone who wouldn't laugh or judge her. She thought of Amika, her little brother. He was young, only 7, but he was brave in his own way, and he always believed her, no matter what. Maybe having him there would make her feel less afraid. She found Amika playing near the river, tossing stones into the water. Amika, she said, crouching beside him, want to go on an adventure with me? His eyes lit up. An adventure? Where? It's a secret, she said, forcing a smile. But it's exciting. You have to promise not to tell Mama or Papa, okay? He nodded eagerly, his grin wide. I promise, Shishi. As they walked toward the old trader's house, Amika's heart pounded. She didn't know what the mirror would show her this time, but she hoped Amika's presence would keep her grounded. The house loomed ahead, its weathered walls looking even more eerie in the afternoon light. Amika clung to her hand, his excitement fading as they stepped through the gate. It's creepy, he whispered, his eyes wide. I know, Shamaka said, squeezing his hand. But we'll be okay. We're together. They climbed the stairs to the attic, the creaks louder with 2 sets of footsteps. The mirror was there, just as she'd left it, its frame glowing faintly. Amika gasped, his grip tightening on her hand. Shishi, what's that? It's a special mirror, she said, trying to sound braver than she felt. It shows things. I need to look at it again. Amika looked up at her, his face serious. Are you sure? It looks scary. I'm sure, she said, though her stomach was doing flips. She stepped forward, pulling Amika with her. The mirror's surface was dark, like a pool of ink. She took a deep breath and said, Show me what I need to see. The mirror's symbols flared to life, and the glass rippled like water. Chamaka braced herself, expecting another horrible face or a terrifying vision. But this time, the mirror showed something different. It was her, standing in the village, but she wasn't alone. She was helping someone, an old woman, bent with age, carrying a heavy basket. Chiamaka's face in the vision was different, not just beautiful, but kind, her eyes warm and gentle. The people around her weren't praising her beauty. They were smiling at her kindness, thanking her for her help. Chiamaka's breath caught. This wasn't a warning, it was a possibility, a different future. But before she could process it, the vision shifted. The old woman vanished, and Chiamaka saw herself again, this time standing in front of a crowd. They were angry, pointing at her, their voices loud and accusing. You think you're better than us? One shouted. You only care about yourself, said another. Himika squeaked beside her, his hand tightening on hers. Shishi, what's happening? Chiamaka couldn't answer. The mirror's surface swirled, and the voices grew louder, blending into a roar. Then, the same whisper from before cut through the noise. Choose your path, Chiamaka. One leads to light, the other to darkness. The mirror went blank, and the attic shook with a sudden, violent tremor. Dust fell from the ceiling, and Amika screamed, clinging to her. Chiamaka's heart pounded as she pulled him close, her eyes locked on the mirror. The symbols were glowing brighter than ever, and the air crackled with energy. Something was coming, something big, and she had no idea if she was ready for it. The attic shook harder, the floorboards creaking as if they might split apart. Dust rained from the ceiling, and Chiamaka pulled Amika tight against her, shielding him with her body. His small frame trembled, his face buried in her side. Shishi, what's happening? He whimpered, his voice muffled. The mirror's symbols blazed with a fiery glow, casting eerie shadows across the attic. The air buzzed with energy, like the moment before a lightning strike. Chiamaka's heart pounded so fiercely she thought it might burst, but she couldn't tear her eyes from the mirror. The glass was blank now, a swirling void of black, but the whisper lingered in her mind. Choose your path, Chiamaka. One leads to light, the other to darkness. The vision she'd just seen of herself helping an old woman, then facing an angry crowd burned in her memory. Two futures, two versions of her. One kind and loved, the other selfish and alone. The mirror was giving her a choice. But how was she supposed to know what to do? The trembling stopped as suddenly as it began, and the attic fell silent. The symbols on the mirror's frame dimmed, and the air grew still. Chiamika's breath came in short gasps, her arms still wrapped around Amika. She looked down at him, his wide eyes staring up at her. "Is it over?" he whispered. I think so," she said, her voice shaky. But she wasn't sure. The mirror felt alive, watching her, waiting for something. She loosened her grip on Amika and stepped toward the glass, her legs wobbly. "Stay here," she told him, her voice firmer than she felt. He nodded, clutching the edge of an old crate. Chiamika faced the mirror, her reflection faint in the dark glass. "What do you want me to do?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "You keep showing me things, but I don't understand." "How do I choose?" The mirror didn't answer, but its surface rippled, and for a moment she thought she saw a flicker of her own face, not the horrible one from before, but her real face, with a softness she didn't recognize. It was gone in an instant, leaving the glass empty again. Chiamika's stomach twisted. The mirror was testing her, pushing her to figure something out, but she felt more lost than ever. She turned to Amika, who was watching her with a mix of fear and trust. "Come on," she said, holding out her hand. "We need to go." She didn't know what else to do, but staying in this attic felt too dangerous. Whatever the mirror was, it wasn't done with her, and she needed time to think. They hurried down the stairs, the old house creaking around them. Outside, the night air was cool, and the stars seemed brighter, like they were trying to calm her. Racing heart, Amika clung to her hand as they walked back toward the village, his small voice breaking the silence. "Shishi, that mirror is scary. Why do you keep going back?" Chiamika didn't have an answer. She wanted to say it was because she had to, because the mirror was showing her something important, but the truth was, she wasn't sure why. All she knew was that it wasn't just about her beauty anymore, it was about who she was inside, and who she could become. The next few days were strange for Chiamika. She went through her usual routine, helping at the market, chatting with Amara and Kosi, smiling at the villagers' compliments, but everything felt different. The mirror's visions had cracked her confidence, and every time someone called her beautiful, she wondered if that was all they saw. She started noticing things she hadn't before, the way some people avoided her eyes, the quiet mutters of the elders, the shy glances of the market girl who never spoke to her. At home, her parents noticed her change in mood. "Chiamika, you're so quiet," her mother, Adaku, said one evening as they washed dishes. "Is something wrong?" Chiamika shook her head, scrubbing a pot harder than necessary. "I'm fine, Mama," she said, but her voice lacked its usual spark. Her mother gave her a long look but didn't push. Chiamika was grateful she wasn't ready to talk about the mirror. Not yet. Amika, though, wouldn't let it go. He followed her everywhere, asking questions about the scary mirror and why it showed her those things. "Was it magic, Shusha?" he asked one afternoon, sitting on the porch while she swept. "Did it talk to you again?" "It's complicated," she said, avoiding his eyes. "I don't know what it was, but it's trying to tell me something." Amika tilted his head, his brow furrowed. "Maybe it's like the stories Grandma Nika tells, about spirits teaching people lessons. Maybe it wants you to be nicer or something." Chiamika froze, her broom still in her hand. Nicer? She thought she was nice. Everyone loved her, didn't they? But then she remembered the vision of the angry crowd, accusing her of thinking she was better than them. She thought of the times she'd ignored people who didn't praise her, or laughed when Amara and Kosi made fun of someone's old clothes. Her cheeks burned with shame. Maybe Amika was right. Maybe the mirror was trying to show her how to be better. That afternoon, she decided to try something different. Instead of heading to the market to bask in the usual compliments, she walked to the edge of the village, where the quieter families lived. There was an old man, Papa Izadi, who lived alone in a small hut. He was too weak to work anymore, and most people forgot about him. Chiamika had never paid him much attention. She'd always been too busy being the center of the market's attention. She knocked on his door, her heart pounding. When he opened it, his wrinkled face lit up with surprise. "Chiamika, what brings you here?" he asked, his voice raspy. I thought you might need some help," she said, her words feeling awkward. Maybe with fetching water or cleaning. Papa Ez's eyes softened. That's kind of you, child. I could use a hand with the firewood. For the next hour, Chimaka helped him stack wood and tidy his small yard. It was hard work, and her hands got dirty, but when Papa Ezedi smiled and thanked her, she felt something new, a warmth in her chest, different from the thrill of compliments. It felt real. As she walked home, she thought about the mirror's vision of her helping the old woman. Was this what it meant? Was this the light path it had talked about? For the first time in days, she felt a spark of hope. Maybe she could change. Maybe she could be the person the mirror showed her in that kind of vision. But that night, as she lay in bed, doubt crept back in. One afternoon of helping Papa Ezedi didn't erase the horrible face she'd seen in the mirror, and the vision of the angry crowd still haunted her. What if she could change enough? What if she was doomed to become that lonely, selfish version of herself? The next day, Chumaka decided to try again. She wanted to prove to herself and maybe to the mirror that she wasn't a vain girl it thought she was. She started small, doing things she'd never bothered with before. She helped Mama Gozi carry her heavy fruit baskets to the market. She stopped to talk to the shy market girl, whose name, she learned, was Ifema. Ifema's face lit up when Chumaka asked about her day, and Chumaka felt that same warmth in her chest again. Amara and Kosi noticed the change and weren't sure what to make of it. Why are you talking to her? Amara asked, wrinkling her nose as Chumaka waved goodbye to Ifema. She's so boring. She's nice, Chumaka said, surprising herself with how firmly she spoke. You just don't know her, Kosi laughed. Since when do you care about people like that? You're Chumaka, the jewel of Yumia. You don't need to waste your time on girls like Ifema. Amaka's smile faltered. She wanted to snap back, to tell them they were wrong, but she didn't. Instead, she changed the subject, asking about a new fabric stall in the market. But her friend's words stuck. Was that how everyone saw her, just a pretty girl who didn't care about anyone else? The mirror's vision of the angry crowd flashed in her mind, and her stomach twisted. That evening, she went back to Grandma Nika. The old woman was sitting under the Iroko tree, her hands busy with a new basket. You look troubled, child, she said, her eyes sharp. The mirror is still talking to you, isn't it? Chumaka nodded, sitting beside her. I'm trying to be better, she said, her voice low. I helped Papa Ezedi, and I talked to Ifema at the market. But I don't know if it's enough. The mirror showed me two paths, one good, one bad. What if I can't choose the right one? Grandma Nika's smile was gentle but firm. The mirror doesn't choose for you, Chumaka. It shows you what's possible, but you make the choice. Every kind act, every moment you put others before yourself, that's you choosing the light. But it's not easy, and it's not quick. Change takes time. Chumaka bit her lip, tears prickling her eyes. What if I'm not strong enough? You are, Grandma Nika said, patting her hand. But you have to believe it, and you have to keep going, even when it's hard. Chumaka left the Iroko tree with new determination. She didn't want to be the girl in the angry crowd's vision. She wanted to be the girl who helped, who cared, who was more than just a pretty face. But the mirror loomed in her mind, its dark glass and glowing symbols pulling her back. She knew she'd have to face it again, one last time, to see if she was really changing. The next morning, she made a decision. She'd go back to the old trader's house, alone this time. Emika had been brave, but this was something she needed to do on her own. She waited until her parents were busy at the market, then slipped away, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and resolve. The house was just as eerie as before, its walls creaking in the wind. She climbed the attic stairs, her footsteps slow and deliberate. The mirror was waiting, its frame glowing faintly, as if it knew she was coming. She stood before it, her hands clenched into fists. Show me, she said, her voice steady despite the fear in her chest. Show me if I'm changing. The mirror's surface rippled, and the symbols flared to life. Chumaka braced herself, expecting another vision or that horrible face. But this time, the mirror showed her something new. It was her, standing in the attic, just as she was now. But as she watched, her reflection began to change. Her face softened, her eyes grew warmer, and a gentle smile curved her lips. It was the face from the kind vision, the one where she helped the old woman. Chiamaka's heart lifted. Was this it? Had she done enough? But before she could feel relief, the reflection shifted again. The gentle face flickered, and the horrible, twisted face from before appeared, its cold eyes glaring at her. The two faces blended, flashing back and forth. Kind Chumaka cruel Chamarka, over and over, like a battle in the glass. The whisper came again, louder this time, filling the attic. You're not done yet, Chamarka. Prove your heart. The mirror's glow intensified, and the attic shook again, harder than before. Cracks appeared in the floorboards, and a low, rumbling sound echoed from the walls. Chamarka stumbled back, her eyes wide with fear. The mirror was testing her. But how? What did it want her to do? And then, from the corner of the attic, she heard a soft, desperate cry. It was Emika's voice, calling her name. Shishi, help! Her blood ran cold. Emika wasn't supposed to be here. She'd left him at home. How had he followed her? She spun around, searching the shadows, but the attic was empty. The cry came again, louder, from behind the mirror. Chiamika's heart raced. Was this real, or another trick of the mirror? Either way, she had to act. Her brother needed her, and she couldn't let him down. Chiamika's heart pounded like a drum as Emika's desperate cry echoed through the attic. Shishi, help! The sound came from behind the mirror, sharp and real, cutting through the rumbling of the shaking room. The mirror's symbols blazed brighter, the cracks in the floorboards widened, and the air crackled with energy. She spun toward the sound, her eyes darting to the shadows behind the mirror. Emika wasn't there. She'd left him at home, safe with their parents. Was this another trick, another vision meant to test her? Or was her little brother really in danger? She didn't have time to think. The cry came again, louder, more frantic. Shishi, please. Her stomach lurched, and fear clawed at her chest, but she pushed it down. If Emika was here, she had to find him. If it was a trick, she'd face it. She wasn't the same Chamarka who'd first stepped into this attic, basking in her own beauty. She was stronger now, or at least, she hoped she was. Emika, I'm coming, she shouted, her voice trembling but firm. She stepped closer to the mirror, her hands shaking as she reached out. The glass rippled like water, and the glowing symbols pulsed faster, as if urging her forward. The cry echoed again, and without another thought, Chamarka pressed both hands against the mirror. The surface was cold, like ice, but it gave way under her touch, soft and liquid. She gasped as her hands sank into the glass, pulling her forward. The attic vanished, and for a moment, everything was dark. She stumbled, her feet hitting solid ground. The air was different, cooler, heavier, with a faint smell of earth and old wood. She blinked, her eyes adjusting to the dim light. She was no longer in the attic. She stood in a strange, cavernous room, its walls covered in the same carved symbols as the mirror's frame. The mirror stood behind her, its glass glowing faintly, but the rest of the room was shrouded in shadows. And there, in the center, was Emika, or what looked like Emika. He was curled up on the floor, his small body trembling. Shishi, he whimpered, looking up at her. His eyes were wide with fear, his face streaked with dust. Emika. Chamarka ran to him, dropping to her knees and pulling him into a hug. He felt real, warm and solid, but something was off. His eyes flickered, and for a split second, they weren't his, they were the cold, sneering eyes of the horrible face from the mirror. She froze, her heart skipping a beat. Was this really her brother, or another of the mirror's tests? Shishi, I'm scared, he said, his voice small. Get me out of here. She swallowed hard, her mind racing. The mirror had shown her two paths, one of kindness, one of selfishness. This had to be part of it, a test to see what she'd choose. She tightened her grip on Emika, her resolve hardening. I've got you, she said. We're getting out of here together. But as she stood, pulling him to his feet, the room shook violently. The symbols on the walls glowed red, and a deep, rumbling voice filled the air, not the whisper from before, but something louder, more commanding. Prove your heart, Chamarka. Save him, or save yourself. The ground beneath her cracked, and a chasm opened, separating her from the mirror. Emika clung to her, his small hands digging into her arm. The chasm was wide, too wide to jump, and the mirror, the only way back, stood on the other side. Chiamika's breath caught. She could try to cross alone, maybe climb or find a way around, but Emika was too small, too scared. If she left him, he'd be trapped here, in this strange, terrifying place. But if she stayed, they might both be lost. Her heart pounded, and the mirror's words echoed. Prove your heart. Chiamika's mind spun as she stared at the chasm, Emika's small hand clutching hers. The rumbling voice, the glowing symbols, the mirror's test, it all pressed down on her, heavy and suffocating. She thought of everything she'd seen, the horrible face, the vision of the angry crowd, the kind version of herself helping others. The mirror had shown her who she was: vain, proud, selfish at times, but it had also shown her who she could be. And now it was asking her to choose. She looked down at Emika, his wide eyes full of trust. He was her little brother, the one who followed her everywhere, who believed in her even when she didn't believe in herself. She remembered the times she'd brushed him off, too busy enjoying the village's praise to play with him or listen to his stories. Guilt twisted in her chest. She'd been so caught up in her own beauty, her own shine, that she'd overlooked the people who mattered most. "I'm not leaving you," she whispered, squeezing his hand. "We'll find a way out together." Emika nodded, his lip trembling. "Okay." She scanned the room, her eyes searching for anything that could help. The walls were smooth, the chasm too wide, and the mirror stood mocking her from the other side. But then she noticed something, a narrow ledge along the wall, barely wide enough for her to walk. It led around the chasm toward the mirror. It was risky, dangerous even, but it was their only chance. "Come on," she said, lifting Emika onto her back. "Hold on tight." He wrapped his arms around her neck, his weight heavier than she expected, but not too much to bear. She took a deep breath and stepped onto the ledge, her heart pounding as her sandals scraped against the stone. The chasm yawned below, dark and endless, and she forced herself not to look down. One step at a time, she inched along the ledge, her hands pressed against the wall for balance. Emika's breath was warm against her neck, his small body trembling. "You're doing great, Shishi," he whispered, and his words gave her a burst of courage. She wasn't just doing this for herself, she was doing it for him. The ledge narrowed, and her foot slipped, sending a shower of pebbles into the chasm. Emika gasped, and Chiamika's heart lurched. "It's okay," she said, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her. "We're almost there." She didn't know if that was true, but she had to believe it. She had to keep going, after what felt like forever. The ledge widened, and they reached the other side. Chiamika set Emika down, her legs shaking from the effort. The mirror was right in front of them, its surface still and dark. She didn't know what would happen when they touched it, but it was their only way back. She took Emika's hand, her resolve firm. "Ready?" she asked. He nodded, his eyes bright with trust. "Ready." They stepped forward together, and Chiamika pressed her free hand against the glass. It rippled under her touch, cold and liquid, and the world dissolved into darkness again. When Chiamika opened her eyes, they were back in the attic. The mirror stood before them, its symbols dim, the air calm. Emika was still holding her hand, his small fingers wrapped tightly around hers. "Shishi, we made it," he said, his voice shaky but relieved. Chiamika's knees buckled, and she sank to the floor, pulling him into a hug. "We did," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Her heart was still racing, but the fear was fading, replaced by a strange sense of peace. She'd faced the mirror's test, and she'd chosen Emika over herself. For the first time, she felt like she'd done something right, not for praise, not for attention, but because it was the right thing to do. She looked at the mirror, its surface reflecting her and Emika. Her face was the same, beautiful as always, but there was something different in her eyes. They were softer, kinder, like the face from the mirror's light vision. Emika's reflection grinned back at her, his gap-toothed smile bright. She ruffled his hair, her chest warm with love for her little brother, but the peace didn't last long. The mirror's symbols flickered again, and the air grew heavy. Chiamika's heart skipped a beat. Was it not over? Hadn't she passed the test? She stood, pulling Emika behind her, her eyes locked on the glass. The mirror rippled, and a new image appeared. It was Chiamika, standing in the village market, surrounded by people. But this time, they weren't praising her beauty. They were thanking her, their faces warm with gratitude. She saw herself helping Mama Ngozi with her baskets, talking to Ifema, carrying firewood for Papa Izadi. The crowd wasn't angry, they were smiling, their voices full of kindness, and Chiamika's face in the vision was radiant, not just with beauty, but with something deeper, something real. Tears stuck her eyes as the vision faded. The mirror's surface cleared, showing only her reflection. The horrible face was gone, and so was the angry crowd. The whisper came one last time, soft and gentle. "You've chosen the light, Chiamika. Keep going." The symbols dimmed completely, and the mirror went still, just a piece of glass in an old attic. Chiamika's breath hitched, and she wiped her eyes, a smile breaking across her face. She didn't know if the mirror was done with her, but she felt different, lighter, like a weight had lifted from her heart. She turned to Emika, who was watching her with wide eyes. "Shishi, is it over?" he asked. "I think so," she said, her voice soft. Come on, let's go home. They left the attic, the old trader's house creaking behind them. As they stepped into the warm sunlight, Chamaka felt a new strength. Inside her, the mirror had shown her the truth, her flaws, her pride, her selfishness, but it had also shown her a way forward. She wasn't perfect, but she was trying, and that was enough for now. Back in the village, Chamaka didn't stop. She kept helping, kept listening, kept noticing the people she'd overlooked before. She spent more time with Ifema, learning about her dreams of becoming a teacher. She helped Papa Izedi fix his leaky roof, laughing with him over stories of his youth. She played with Amika, really played, letting him drag her into his silly games by the river. The village noticed the change. The elders stopped muttering about her pride, and the women at the market started praising her kindness instead of her beauty. Chamaka, you've got a good heart, Mama Gozi said one day, her smile warm. That's worth more than all the beauty in the world. Chamaka blushed, the warmth in her chest growing. She didn't need the mirror to tell her she was changing, she could feel it. Her friends, Amara and Kosi, were confused at first, but they started joining her, helping at the market and talking to people they'd ignored before. Even they could see the difference, and it made them want to be better too. One evening, Chamaka went back to the old trader's house alone. She didn't tell anyone, not even Amika. She climbed the attic stairs, her heart steady this time. The mirror was still there, its frame dark and quiet. She stood before it, her reflection clear in the glass. Thank you, she whispered, for showing me who I could be. The mirror didn't respond, but she didn't need it to. She knew who she was now, not just the jewel of Yumia, but Chamaka, a girl with a heart that was learning to be kind, humble, and true. She turned and left the attic, the house, the mirror behind her, ready to face whatever came next with a strength she hadn't known she had. As she walked back to the village, the sun setting in a blaze of gold, Chamaka smiled. The mirror had shown her the truth, but she was the one who'd chosen to change, and that, she knew, was the real magic.